Alrighty, rock and roll. Here we are at Friday. Oh, couldn't come quick enough. Here we are, February 20th. Wow, how did we get here? All right, welcome to the Scorched Earth podcast, the political edition. I'm your host, John. Hey, and if you could, kindly make my week, make your own week. Hit that subscribe and like button. I really appreciate it. Leave some comments. I'll try and respond to them. If they're positive, I'll endorse them. If they're negative, I'll act like I don't see them. Yeah, that's the way we get going. All right, let me start you out with a story. I have cable TV. Yeah. You know, I think in today's world, that has more of a stigma than telling people you're transitioning. I tell people I have cable TV and they look at me like literally I've got alien hybrid DNA. And I don't even know if it's hybrid. I don't even know if they think I have any human DNA. But like we talk about with super producer Stacy, you know, I am literally at Jurassic Park, okay? She's in the spaceship. I'm over there just, you know, hanging out with the Raptosauruses, right? So I have cable TV, and for the last 3 months, I've had Spectrum, all right? If you got Spectrum out there, good luck, right? Obviously, you're a masochist like I am. And I have had this problem for the last 3 months that every 3-4 days, I come home, turn the TV on, and there's no sound. Now, I have, I had a cable box. They go to a streaming device so you can save the $5 a month or $10 a month, whatever it is. You know, everything costs, you know, right? You just can't get a plug and do this. Everything's a couple bucks, right? So every 5-6 days for the last 3 months, I come home, you know, no sound, right? I made 11 calls to them. So I get home yesterday and I'm just like, man, it's been a long day. I walked in the door at like 10:30 and it's not like when you're a kid, when you walk in at 10:30, man, you just had a great day. It's like, man, I just survived. It's like running the New York City Marathon or being on alone for 3 months. You know, it's like, I didn't succeed, I survived. And so I turned the TV on, I want to watch something, and there's no sound, and I got to make another call, you know. And when you talk to the technician, you're not talking to the same technician. You know, I got somebody in South Texas. I got somebody in Wisconsin. I got somebody in Pennsylvania. I swear to God, it's like a UN, right? I'm meeting people all over this country. I don't know anybody who lives on my block, but I'll tell you damn well, I know 40 people for Spectrum all over the United States, right? I know Cindy in Alabama. I know Nate over in Pennsylvania. It's like, Jesus Christ, right? I mean, honestly, I'm going to start putting them on my Christmas card club, right? I get to talk to them so much. So you go through it and you call them and they walk you through it and everybody has a different solution, right? I've changed out Exmo boxes. I've changed out HDMI cables. I've taken care of ports. I've done routers. Literally. If I told Stacy this, she'd be so proud of me, but she wouldn't believe I did it because I'm that incompetent. But man, when they're walking me through it, so every time you get on the phone, you're on there for 30 minutes. I mean, you got it, you know, and also this is my bitch fest. You know, if you're already sick of it, yeah, just come back tomorrow. Okay. I don't understand for the life of me how the F I got to call in. Okay. And let's do a little reenactment. Okay, are you calling about your address? And then you got to put in your name and address. You got to vocally put it in. Blah, blah, blah. My name is John, blah, blah, blah. I live at blah, 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 blah. Okay. And then you get finally to a human being, miracle of all miracles. That was the longest 8 minutes of my life. And then they go, can you confirm your name? All right, let's do it. Here's my name again. Can you confirm your address? Yes. And then I ask, why did I have to do it in the beginning if it's not up on your screen what they connected me to? I don't know, sir. I just work here. All right. All right. So we're going through. Then, of course, no matter who they connect you to, that person can't solve your problem. Doesn't matter. Literally, if there was one person working there, he wouldn't be able to handle my problem. No. Need to get you over to this department in technical support. I'm like, oh my God, here we go. Okay, thank you. They transfer you over, and what do you get? Hello, sir. Who am I speaking to? John, blah, blah, blah. May I get your full name and address? And then I asked tonight, because I was really at my wit's end, right? Why do I have to do it again? Isn't there one computer system there for the entire spectrum that literally can connect me? When you connect me over, can't you send my information? Sir, I just work here. All right. So now I get to some lady last night in South Texas. I get to her, and she literally is going over the stuff that the last 4 people have went over. And I'm like, she goes, have you unplugged the streaming box? Yes, I did. I didn't ask you to. You sure you did it? Yeah, I just did that before I called you because I'm so desperate to hear words, right? And then she says, unplug the router and then the modem and then the TV. And then I unplugged the TV. I said, okay, I hit the plug bar. She goes, no, sir, that's not what we recommend. Please unplug it at the source. And I'm having flashbacks to Stacy telling me about her Dyson, how she plugs it in right to the plug, not to the plug bar. I'm like, wow, Stacy's got a sister out there, right? And I said, okay. So I unplug it at the wall. We go through the rigmarole. Nothing's working. Everything's shut down. She's going out there. She's zapping my system, blah, blah, blah. So we go through about another 15 minutes of this, and I'm trying to keep my stuff together, right? So finally, somehow, I don't know, Haley's Comet, whatever, the sound finally comes back on, okay? And I said, thank God. Now I can watch my little Get Shorty movie. That's what I'm watching tonight, right? Love that movie. Gene Hackman, one of his last movies. Such a great actor. And so at the end, she goes, well, sir, I'm glad I could help you tonight. I said, oh, don't you be going nowhere. Don't you be going nowhere. I said, I want to schedule a technician. Why do you want to do that, sir? I said, because I have this problem every 5 days. And she says, sir, was I not able to resolve your issue satisfactorily? And I said, well, yes, you were, but I know in 3 days I'm going to have this issue again. And she said, sir, I wouldn't recommend sending a technician until you have a problem. All right. Right. Send me a technician. Sir, we may have to bill you. That's fine. You go ahead and do that. Then you get your blood pressure to 120 over 60, and then you start looking at the news. I start doing my little due diligence for the night, and I get Trump. Yeah, it's going well. Let me tell you something. I'm going to make a little joke here. What's the difference between the mob and a cable company? The mob wears suits. Okay? Let me tell you something. There ain't no difference. They're all a bunch of mother effers. Bunch of mother effers. I swear to God, I want to put rabbit ears on my TV. Jesus Christ. I would need Stacy's help for that. All right. Telling no lies, taking no prisoners. Here we are for beautiful Friday, and we're going to talk about the news. All right. We're going to talk about the Trump agenda, how it's faring in the House and in the Senate today. Last night, the Republicans in the Senate did their own version of a rave party. They stayed up all night, probably took some ketamine, probably took some cocaine, probably took some speed. And it was their first step to advance the Republican agenda, the legislative agenda. Now, we have two bigger things going on. Now, the House has been working on their version of a bill. They have the same name. They don't have the same view, right? So the House wants to make one bill because they have a razor-thin majority. They only have a 2-seat majority in the House. So they don't think they're going to get 2 bites of the apple. They want to put everything in the package and then Anybody who resists on the Republican side, they figure they're just going to put so much pressure on them that they're going to have to capitulate. There's a lot of problems on the Republican side in the House. There's a lot of problems in the Senate. We're going to try and get to it. So the Senate last night had what they call a vote-a-rama. When I was a kid, they had this show on Sundays. It was called Wonderama. It was out of New York. And it was a farcical little childish game show. And it reminds me of the current Republican Party because nothing is getting accomplished. But I digress. We're going to have to see what happens here. So the Democrats in the Senate attempted to force the Republicans to go on the record on how they were going to vote on issues like Ukrainian funding, Medicare, and Medicaid. We're going to have to see what happens with these. Also, they were looking for other funding stipulations. Now, the Republicans in the Senate have a 6-vote majority. You can call it 7 because it's 53-47, but if there's a tie, J.D. Vance can break the tie, right? 50-50. So let's just call it 6 or 7, whatever we want to do. They want to put forward a more narrow bill that just deals with immigration, bolster funding for immigration, national security, and energy production. Okay? Things that are maybe a little more popular with the voters at large. The House wants to loop everything in, right? They want to it's literally like the garage sale. You know, you're at the garage sale. We're not doing individual items. It's take it all. Take it or leave it. It's just what it is, right? They only have the 2-seat majority. So they don't think if they split up the bills that they're going to be able to handle the heat to get the second one done. Here is where I'm really interested in what's going on. Is the Senate Republicans seem to be pushing back on the House alternative of extensive cuts to Medicare and Medicaid. Now, the House has put forward preliminary budget this week, and I had a talk with somebody about this yesterday. They want to cut $800 million out of Medicaid, okay? That's going to really just gut the whole program. The Senate Republicans don't. They don't want to touch cuts. I think they're looking at political polling numbers. I was looking at the House, and there is 4 congressmen, Republican congressmen in Congress, with close to 50% of their constituents are getting some form of Medicaid. And that is going to be a real dicey situation on how much they're going to cut. Personally, I hope I'm wrong. I think they're going to come and cut Medicaid. If they're cutting all these programs with impunity, whatever you want to call it, Medicaid has always been like the golden calf on the hill. They've always disparaged it because they consider it a poor program. They go after anything that they think the poor are benefiting. That's how this goddamn society works. That if the poor get a benefit, whether it's food aid, SNAP, Medicaid, any child care, anything like that, F you. We're not going to do it because I got to stuff a couple more bucks and Elon Musk is already overstuffed pockets or Jeff Bezos' fat head. That's what the goddamn they want to do. Yeah, I know. I'm trying to make it to 10 minutes, Stacy. I'm trying to make it to 10 minutes. So we're going to see what they do. Really. They're just infighting here. We're going to see how they finally break it. Now, at some point, they've got to put forward a budget. And that's going to be a serious problem. You know, they talk about, we're all for Doge. Let's see if they restore the funding back to the FAA, if they go back to USAID, which is one of the best humanitarian programs in the world. Let's see if they restore funding for the national parks. You know, the thing is, the Doge idiots say because we stopped the funding, we save that money. Well, where's that money going? I don't know. You know, it's like saying, you know what it really is? And let me break it down for all the people who are goddamn retarded. I made it to 10 minutes, really, I did. Is if you've got a lot of bills and you pay them all, but you stop the checks, it doesn't mean you save money. It doesn't. You still owe the money. It was allotted by Congress last year in the bill structure. You still got to pay it. They think, hey, I put a stop payment on the check. I'm good. I got all this cash. I don't got to worry about it. Yeah, all right. Yeah. That's what they're saying. That's what they're telling you. Yeah, there we go. I'm worked up, people. I'm worked up. We'll see how my golf game is this weekend. I gotta get out there. Any of you out there golf? Tell me. Tell me in the comments if you golf, and tell me if you're really good. Don't tell me because it'll depress me too much. I golf so much, or I used to golf when my little brother was around. I haven't golfed in a minute. I'm talking to my buddy, brother Bill, and we're gonna maybe go hit some golf balls. But man, I hate to look weak and ineffectual. All right, let's talk about Ukraine and the U.S. That seems to be a ongoing little saga here. It's like something out of the Young and the Restless, a daytime soap opera. Yesterday, the news conference between Zelensky and Trump's Ukrainian envoy was canceled amid growing tensions. Gee, I wonder why. I wonder why that is. The event was originally supposed to include comments to the media by Zelensky and retired U.S. Lieutenant Colonel Keith Kellogg, who's a very staunch America First person. That was changed at the last minute to a simple opportunity where the two just posed for pictures with no questions being able to be asked by journalists. Change was requested by the U.S. side. Kellogg's trip to Kiev comes on the heels of recent feuding between Zelensky and Trump. All right, there we go. Cast doubt on the future of U.S. aid for Ukraine. There is a considerable contingent, and I'm going to say 12 Republican senators in the Senate who are very pro-Ukrainian. It'll be interesting to see what happens for funding there. I think Trump has to get a peace deal, wink, wink, peace deal, before the budget bill comes up and they can allot money for it. Because if they allot $40 billion for Ukraine's not going to give up. I saw Bernie Sanders. He had a really great video he threw out Wednesday. 20% of Ukraine is now being occupied by Russia. Russia has killed or injured over 1 million Ukrainians since their invasion. Actually, they killed, I believe, in 4 separate incidents on Wednesday night. They killed multiple people and injured somewhere upwards of 30 to 40 people in an apartment bombing with drones. One of the things Russia is doing, and this is just disgusting, is they're sending high-tech drones into these areas, and they're just hovering over the house all night. They don't do nothing. They just stay over the house. And anybody who comes out, they shoot. Like, wow. Remember this. In 2023, the International Court of Justice named Vladimir Putin a war criminal. Trump is negotiating with him. He is a war criminal, and Trump is saying no problem. Let me ask you this. We're talking about putting tariffs, about sanctioning, tariffs a sanction on these countries that are friendly with us, Canada, England, Mexico. But he wants to normalize relations with Russia? Where's the end game there? How come he doesn't talk about tariffs with Russia? Isn't that weird? How come he doesn't do that? He only talks about tariffs to our allies. Well, I'm not going to call China an ally, but our typical trading partners. What's going on there? It just doesn't make a lot of sense. But then again, we got 4 years of nonsense coming, don't we? So Zelensky has been incredibly unhappy with the U.S. the last week and a half. First of all, starting out that his country or no European countries were invited to the peace talks in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has a bigger place at the table than Ukraine or Russia or France. Any of those countries. Explain that to me like I'm a 3-year-old, okay? Zelensky is also unhappy because Trump said that Ukraine invaded Russia. I was listening to the Bernie Sanders comments, and Trump is claiming that we have given 3 times the aid that Europe has, and actually he broke it down. Europe is given more money than we have. Now that's the entire continent, right? But there's no 3-to-1 ratio. They gave more money in the last 2 years by, I think, $4 billion than we have. Don't let facts get in the way. Don't let facts get in the way. I did see that we're going to get to that at the end of Odd Things in the News. It just came to me. Inspired genius, I'll say. Odd Things in the News. In the last couple months, Jeff Bezos, the owner-operator, bald dude, Lex Luthor, guy from Amazon, we all know him. He's been performing oral sex on Donald Trump, right? He's not just getting him excited. He's not, I'm going to call him the fluffer. Let's just call him the fluffer, right? So he started a couple months ago in October when the paper he owns, the Washington Post, for the first time wouldn't endorse a presidential candidate. Who do you think they're going to endorse, Kamala or Trump? Gee, I wonder who. Gee, wow. Good thing. So that wasn't enough. Then he's got to double down, like all the rest of the effing tech bros, right? And he donates $1 million to the Trump inaugural fund. Well, you can just go ahead and line it up. Believe me, there's a lot of those guys doing it. Hey, we don't need to give any money to ASPCA or feeding the kids or any of that stuff. Forget helping humanity. Let's give $1 million to this guy, right? Well, that wasn't enough because he needs to really do the fluff. He needs to get the whole schnoz. He needs to get the whole cream pie, right? Sorry. That's why this isn't for kids. I'm just telling you right now. This ain't your mom's podcast, all right? He just signed a deal with Amazon. Amazon signed a deal with Melania Trump for $40 million to license a documentary and limited series on the incoming First Lady. Sure, this is going to be groundbreaking. I'm sure it's just going to be incredible. I mean, really, how obscene is the payoffs going down? How obvious is the corruption? In this documentary, I'm wondering if we're going to see the early years of this incredibly forthright and industrious and entrepreneurial young lady Melania is. When she was an illegal alien here, how she overstayed her visa, how she illegally got her parents' citizenship. Yeah. Oh, wait, let's talk about her extensive nude modeling. Yeah. I wonder what would happen. I remember back in the day when I know a lot of Republicans, disgusting as they are, who said Michelle Obama was a guy. Yeah. Well, I guess we don't have to worry with Melania because we've seen everything, right? We know she ain't a guy. When they say I'd really like to know what she's like, right underneath. Yeah, well, with Melania, we have a pretty good idea, right? Yeah. All right. Other odd things in the news. ESPN and MLB. I know this isn't your cup of tea. Just go with me, okay? Damn you. I can already hear your anger. They ended their partnership. It's going to be at the end of this year that ESPN opted out. They've been broadcasting baseball games since 1990. Baseball's got some serious problems here. I don't know what they're going to do. Baseball's lost a lot of the regional sports networks. I don't know where they're going to find the money. It is amazing in this era where the WNBA is getting increased rights fees, EPL, all these other sports entities, because there is so much competition for eyeballs that ESPN just moved on from MLB. I got to say, I think it's a terrible mistake, but hey, what do I know? I'm just a guy doing a podcast. And from the What was the mother effer thinking? Listen to this nugget, people. 91 disabled kids in a Pennsylvania high school were abruptly cut off from support program that they've had for the last 15 years to help them transition from high school to life after school. Now, what happened here is these people, these beautiful kids, are developmentally and physically disabled. And what they do is they have a program that prepares them for life after high school, okay? So that they can find employment, transition into society, whatever it is. I don't know the full scope of what the program does, right? But they had in their mission statement the word transition. Well, those Doge guys, they are something else. They saw the word transition. Bingo! We're cutting the program. Yeah. In the middle of the year. So there's kids there that are seniors who see the other side. They're going to go out to a life. They're going to do their best. They're brave warriors. They have disabilities. They're trying to figure out, what am I going to do? How can I make my own life? How can I not be a burden anymore? How can I make my stand? How can I show the world I am something? Yeah, we just cut that. Yeah, because it had the word transition in it. Yeah. I hope they're effing proud. I wonder at night, these Doge people, if they can really look at themselves. You know, I had a boss for a long time, and we were talking. He was a Republican. I was the liberal. And I was like, you don't believe in the teachings of Christ to help those who are underserved, who need help. And he said, well, yeah, but there's a limit. And I said, it's funny. I don't remember in the Bible Jesus putting a limit on how much people could eat, how much they could help the poor. I don't remember him saying that. I guess I got a different Bible than the Christians did, right? Finally, I saw a report that Trump is going to spend some of his free time, I guess, whatever you want to call it, trying to work out that PGA and Live Tour disagreement between the billionaires and the millionaires. If you heard it on my previous podcast, basically the PGA Tours, the American Golf Tour, a lot of their stars got poached by Saudi Arabian Tour. They gave them a lot of money. They're competing against each other. They're trying to find a way back. It's been a real difficult situation. Basically, a bunch of rich people fighting over getting even richer. Trump's decided he's going to try and settle it. That's just great use of your time. There's nothing going on in Ukraine. There's people going out on the street. They're losing their jobs. Kids who are disabled are getting their funding cut at school. You know what? Yeah. Let's make sure Jon Rahm and Tiger Woods can be on the same golf course, because that really matters. F you. All right. That's enough for me today. Please hit the like and subscribe button. If I cuss too much for you, I'm going to blame super producer Stacy. It's not really her fault. She always tells me not to. But I'm getting more angry. This is where I'm finding my mojo, okay? I'm pissed off, and I'm going to burn the earth, okay? Come with me. I got flame retardant, and I got fire extinguishers for you. Everybody else, we're going to torch, okay? It's going to look like the surface of the sun when I'm done. And we're all going to be living in a better place. Trust me. But I need your help. Leave some comments. Like I said, hit the subscribe and like button. I love y'all, and I'll see you tomorrow.